Welcome to Unit 6, Section 2, Lesson 1, Video 1, Solving Equations Algebraically. So to solve an equation, we need to isolate the variable, which means get the variable by itself. We do that by adding, subtracting, multiplying, and or dividing. And just like when we used algebra tiles or balance scales, we need to make sure that we maintain equality at all times. That means that both sides of the equation stay equal to each other. So whatever you do to one side of the equation, you must also do to the other side. Otherwise, you could get a balance scale that doesn't look very balanced. So we're going to start off with a very simple equation, n plus 5 equals 7. And before we look at solving it algebraically, we're going to do a quick recap of how we would solve this problem using algebra tiles. So first we model the equation. And the thing that's keeping the n, the variable, from being by itself would be the 5 yellow squares. And so the way that we would get rid of 5 yellow squares, we want to create 0 pairs, so we would add 5 red squares. And to maintain equality, if we add 5 red squares to the left side, we need to make sure we add 5 red squares to the right side. Now on the left, we have 5 0 pairs. And on the right, we have 5 0 pairs. They can disappear. And we're left with n equals 2. If we solve this one using algebra, we do basically the exact same strategy, but with no pictures. So n plus 5 equals 7. The thing that's keeping the n from being by itself would be the 5. So we want to get rid of positive 5. The opposite of add 5 or positive 5 is negative 5 or subtract 5. So we are going to subtract 5 from the left-hand side. And if we do that to the left, we need to subtract 5 from the right-hand side as well. 5 subtract 5 is 0. 7 subtract 5 is 2. And so we're left with n equals 2. And we can verify our solution from either example. Simply substitute it back into our equation. 2 plus 5 does in fact equal 7, so n equals 2 is the solution. The next example, 5n equals 20. And so we want to start this question by asking ourselves, what is the opposite of multiplying a number by 5? And that would be dividing by 5. So the first thing we're going to do in this equation, we're going to divide the left side and the right side by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1, so they cancel out. And we're left with n equals 4. We can verify that solution. 5 times 4 is in fact 20. So we could pretty much verify that by inspection. The final example we'll look at in this video, a little more complicated. We have a couple of operations going on now. So when there are two operations, in this case multiplying and subtraction, we always add or subtract the opposite first before we multiply or divide. So we want to take care of the subtract 3. And the opposite of subtract 3 is add 3. So we're going to add a 3 to each side to get rid of that negative 3 or to get rid of the subtract 3. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. And because I added a 3 to the left, of course I add it to the right as well. 17 plus 3 is 20. So 4n equals 20. So the opposite of multiply by 4 is divide by 4. So we're going to divide both sides of the equation by 4. The 4's cancel. And I'm left with n equals 5. I can verify my solution by substituting n equals 5 back into the equation. So instead of 4n, it's 4 times 5. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 subtract 3 is 17. The left-hand side equals the right-hand side. So it's true. So n equals 5 is the solution to the equation 4n subtract 3 equals 17. Please proceed to the activities for Lesson 1.